Okay, now in the poster photo blending section of our module, we are going to take this thing and we're going to try to recreate it. So I'm going to open it up in Photoshop. And I'm just going to use this as a base. And unfortunately, we don't have the font Helvetica as a default font or as part of the font package in Adobe Photoshop. So we're just going to try to get it close. We don't want to, I'm not looking for a perfect replica or a copy. I'm just looking for you guys to practice technique. So I'm going to create a new layer. And let's first, actually, I'll create a couple of layers. And I'll have one, I'll just call that black. And if I turn this off and go to this layer, go to my default black and white, and then Alt backspace. So I have a clean black background. And again, I'm going to go to my view here because that's super annoying. Okay. So, and then what we want to do is, let me see, we want to type this thing, we love Helvetica, but probably on a text layer. So let's take the text tool here and we'll just click it and we're going to just type in W, oops, it's black, so we're going to change it white, W, so cap, W-E-L-O. So we'll start off with this. And then what I found was the closest to like this Helvetica Narrow was AMGT, that. And then the Helvetica regular, the closest one was like this Arial Bold. Alright. And then now that we have that, I'm just gonna scale it to roughly the size. Again, I'm not looking for perfect accuracy, we're just kind of, it's all concept. So we have that, and then I'm gonna put Control C, Control, can I do that? Control C. And then here, I just did Control C, Control V, so I have another text on top. And I'm just going to put H-E-L. V-E-T-I-C-A. So for those of you guys that have studied graphics in the past, please don't say, oh, that's not a true Helvetica. I already know. So anyhow, I'm pretty close here. I could probably get rid of that for a sec, turn on my background, and then, set this up. Something like that. Right? And then now the next thing we want to do is, these vertical lines and then this slightly mirrored, Helvetica, text. So let's get into, let me see, like these color bars, if you will. So I am going to set up a new layer, and that's where I'm going to do the color bars. So maybe I'll just name it color bars. And what I want to do is I want to select, let's say I select a really thin line, and it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to select it off the screen. And I want to fill it with this particular color. Well, Photoshop has this eyedropper tool, which is kind of cool. So if I'd have to zoom in here pretty tight, and then go to my eyedropper tool and select that color, and you'll notice that that color gets translated here as my fill texture. So I have my selection already done. So now I have to go Alt backspace and then deselect, and there you go. I have my color. Of course, it's on a transparent background, right? So if I turn on my black, it's there. So I want to be able to select this thing. So again, a trick is to go Control and then click this thumbnail, and it'll select everything in that thumbnail. And we want to be able to move that. Oops. Oh, actually, we want to move the selection, so go to the Select tool. No, actually, I want to move the whole color, so I'm going to have to do that. Hot dog. So we have that. I'm going to just cut it off right at the W. Delete. Oops. I was on the wrong layer. I was on the black layer. I want to be here, right? I actually make that mistake on purpose. Alright. So I have that. I can go again and select that. So now we want to select a couple of select this color bar and move it, and then maybe change colors. So again, you can just hit Control to select that, and then I'm going to zoom in because it's so thin. And then you get in here under the Move command, because you're moving that color, basically what you're saying. If you hold down Alt, it'll allow you to make a copy of that. So you're going to just move that, and if you hold down Shift, you'll move it straight across, and I'll place it right over the W. And then I don't want to necessarily deselect it yet. Oh yeah, actually I can deselect it. So I want to turn on my, and maybe the other color is this purple thing. So I'm going to come in here, kind of zoom in and make sure I get the purple. And then my purple color is loaded. I'm still go back to the color bar, still selected. I can go Alt Backspace. There you go. And then we'll do the E with the gray, and then this red. So again, I'm going to come back in here, go to my Move tool, hold down Alt, bring it to my E, go to my eyedropper, pick that gray, Alt Backspace, again make a copy of the same bar. I guess it's in the E, yeah, and then the L and the O, I guess, or the middle of the O. Okay, again, eyedropper, this maroon color, Alt Backspace, and then go back to my Move, make a copy of that bar, right over my L. This one is longer, so I'm going to grab that middle bar here. Perfect. Nudge it a little bit. That bar is kind of this gold, mustard gold. Again, eyedropper. Sample that brown. Alt Backspace to fill that. Then the last one will be the O. Let me move that bar, but I'll make copy again as I move. Put it right in the center of that O. Move that up. I don't want to deselect it yet. Eyedropper, Alt Backspace. And I think we're pretty much done with all the vertical things. So there you go. Alright, so here, let me see, how did they handle that? Oh, the L and the O was a little bit more separated, so, and my L and the O is not, so that's going to be a problem. But anyhow, oh, by the way, the credit for this particular artist that created this graphics, I thought I saw, oh, Roger Lima. Just heads up, little shout out to Roger Lima, because I just jacked your artwork, sorry. So anyhow, let's just go ahead and fix some of this. So I'm going to come back in here, go to my move command, which shows these transform controls. So then I can just extend it up higher. And then deselect. And then this one is going to be a little bit tricky. Oh. So here's now a little dilemma, right? I want to extend this color bar, but how do I select that? Well, I could actually come down to the Magic Wand tool. The Magic Wand tool is the original tool in Photoshop, and it just selects any color that you click on. So if I click on that, I come in here and I select this thing, and it'll select anything that's that color. Then I can come back in here and stretch this out. Right, I am stretching, yep. So that would be the Magic Wand tool. So you guys are getting a couple of different tools introduced to you at the same time. Oh, come on. Control D to get out of the selection. And here, what I'm going to do, instead of trying to separate these texts, which I don't feel like doing that, I'm just going to delete so that this line goes behind it. Or better yet, maybe I'll select the line. Again, I'll go to my Magic Wand tool. I am in the color bar, and then that'll allow me to select that, and I'll just move it, and I'll just put it on top of that. I could just erase a portion of it, but it's also probably easier to just pull that selection back up. So there you go. So we love Helvetica. Now what I want to do is do that kind of reflective, you know, this kind of slight reflective gradient. So that one's actually not too difficult if you know what to do. So again, I'm going to a couple of different techniques, I guess. I'll just go ahead and select that. I'll make a copy, Control C, Control V. So, and I could have copied this the same way, Control C, Control V. But when you make copies using the shortcut key like that, it'll actually create a brand new layer. Versus if I drag it and copy it, it'll stay within the same layer. So that's why all of these bars, instead of being, you know, separate layers, it's all in one layer. So that's another little trick. Anyway, so here's this. Now I'm going to flip this. So I'm going to go to Image, Edit, Transform, and Flip Vertical so that it looks like a reflection. Alright, I'm going to make it touch. So the trick with this is, here, let me turn off all the other stuff so that you're not confused. The trick with this is to be in this particular layer and blend, or like don't see any of the bottom, and then just only see the top, just so subtly, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a mask, a layer mask here, and then that layer mask is all white, so I could see everything, right? So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to gradient, meaning I'm going to put a gradient as part of that mask. And right now the gradient is going from black to white, right? So if I go from black to white, so whatever's black, it doesn't see. So I don't want to see this, so I'm going to reset that gradient to start from here. meaning anything from here down is going to be true black, and it'll turn white as it gets here. You see how it's just starting to cover up. My text is actually there, but it's covering it up. Maybe I want to start from here. My white. If my white ends here, there'll be more gray, right? So it's kind of like that. Maybe I'll take the white further back. I'm holding down Shift to keep my gradient pretty straight. Yeah, I think that's cool. So I'll bring the color bars back, the top Helvetica back, the Welo back, and oops. There you go. Now it's a clean. Now if this is also kind of dark, too dark for your taste, again, you can also do the opacity. You know, just make it real subtle, like a slight reflection. And there you go. That's a replica of the original artwork by Roger Lima. Alright, have fun. I know I didn't do all of this other stuff, but no worries. Again, these are all just exercises. See you guys.